Hey race fans, welcome back to Drewster Racing. Today we have the Mod Market Criterium. It's a 1.3 mile lap. Not quite a criterium, takes place on a police test track, so I guess more of a circuit race, but it's a very fun course, very fast, very smooth. You don't have to worry about potholes every few seconds. Absolutely love it here. Now, last year was kind of slow, believe it or not. I want to say like we were averaging like in the low 200s, at least for me. And then it really didn't pick up until the end with a few surges in between. So wasn't quite sure how today would shake out. But right now we're wrapping up lap one, and you can see we're starting pretty hot. I'm hitting 5, hitting 6, and we're cruising right now. And with this race, I was trying to be a little bit more strategic. I didn't want to attack too early. But I did want to save something because I really felt like a breakaway would have a chance to stick today. We had a relatively small field. I think only about 20 or so riders, maybe even less than that. So if a group of like, say, I don't know, 2 to 4 really strong riders got a gap, I don't know if the pack would be motivated enough to chase. So what I wanted to do was just kind of keep an eye on some of the stronger riders, and you're going to see come into frame in just a second here the Groove Rider. He's Alex. He's been in a number of breakaways over the last few races, so my goal was just to keep an eye on him, and anytime he launched an attack, I wanted to be on the back of his wheel. Again, he crushed it at Fountain, did really well at Superior, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him in a breakaway again today, and that's kind of what you're seeing starting on the left here. The pace is picking up. And there's some really strong riders in this group of 6, and I know I have to bridge this gap. Even though it's early, we just started the second lap, but these riders are strong enough where if they go full gas for the next 30 seconds, that gap could be 10, 15 seconds, then there may not be enough motivated riders in the group to jump back on. So putting in a little bit of a dig here on one of the 2 bumps on this course. There's this little hill here and then one just before the finish line. Yeah, we're putting in 800 watts because, again, I have to be in this group just in case this sticks. So I'm going to kind of control my effort here, pull back a little bit. It starts to go slightly downhill, so I'm kind of tucking into position, trying to get as arrow as possible. And there's kind of a sweeping right turn that continues to go downhill and leads up to the finishing straight. Got 2 of my teammates out here. Looks like Rob and Mike. They're able to jump back on. And then, yeah, that pace is kind of slowed up. I'm doing 100 watts, so basically freewheeling at this point. And yeah, we are back together. So let's fast forward to some more action. So we're going to fast forward to the end of the second lap, and what you're going to see is a Groove Rider attacking my teammate Mike, jumping on that wheel. So there were 2 Groove Riders, the one I mentioned earlier, Alex, and then this other Groove Rider here, and they just continued to launch attacks this entire race. Really made it a very tough race, but also a lot of fun. So basically what you're going to see throughout this video is just those 2 attacking and me doing my best to just make sure I'm staying on the one rider's wheel. Alright, so I just finished grabbing a sip of water. Unfortunately, I'm in the back of the group, not really in the best spot if an attack were to launch. And if you look ahead, those strong riders I've been talking about, they're at the front, and they're starting to attack, and I'm just in a terrible spot. Way too many guys in front of me, not a lot of room to work, and there's a gap starting to form, and I'm a bit worried at this moment, but fortunately a few of these guys in front of me are willing to chase. I've got a couple teammates in front that are also willing to chase. So feeling pretty good, but I'm telling myself at this point in the race, I cannot allow this to happen again. I have to make sure I'm staying at, in that front third of the pack, because of some of these strong riders, if they get a big enough gap, like, they're gone. And I don't think the group is going to be motivated enough to chase them down, especially the success these riders have seen in previous races. So definitely taking a mental note right now in the race, as the pace is starting to slow, that I need to make my way to the front and keep an eye on that Groove Rider in particular. Alright, so I know I said I'd be right on that rider's wheel, and of course we're skipping ahead about another lap, and there they go attacking, and I am completely out of position. So putting in a dig, there's 1,000 watts, 900, 800, 700. We're going to settle in around 4 or 5 and hopefully catch these 3. We got this rider in front of me putting in a very strong effort. Unfortunately, I'm able to stick on his wheel, and we're going to close that gap down. And really what I've learned, at this point in the race with, about 13K completed, this is an extremely difficult course for a breakaway to stick. There's just a lot of exposed sections, especially the straightaway going into the finish. I mean, you're exposed to the wind. The group, if they kind of work together, they can easily catch you. But I'm still, I'm very worried about these riders. They're extremely strong. They've made breakaways stick. in the last couple races, so it's definitely in the back of my mind that I need to just keep an eye on these two. But it's definitely looking like right now it's going to come down to a sprint finish just based off the number of attacks that I've seen and the number of times we've been able to catch back up. All right, skipping ahead to 8.5K to go, and here comes another attack, and I'm finally in the position I want to be. I'm behind these two strong riders. They launch an attack. I do not have to hit 1,000 watts to catch them. Only had to hit about, I don't know, 7 or 8 for just a second, and I can settle in at around 3 to stick on their wheel. I think I brought like a number of riders with me, if not the whole group, so that kind of killed this attack, and we're just going to settle in here in a second and just wait for the next one. And we don't have to wait too long, because about 30 seconds later on this slight downhill going into this next kicker, we have another attack. But I'm fortunately in great position here. So here goes the attack here on the left, the groove rider. Again, the strong rider here in the green. He jumps on his wheel, and he kind of had a very similar strategy to me. I definitely kind of bumped into him quite a bit as we're making sure we're keeping an eye on this guy. And yeah, didn't have to surge too hard. Able to jump back on, and that was kind of it on this attack as well. We really weren't looking to roll a breakaway. I really wish I was strong enough to have done that, because we'll learn a little bit later my sprint kind of sucks. But yeah, we're sitting in again. All right, skipping ahead, I'm still on this rider's wheel. Now, if you look ahead, the front, you're going to see a different groove rider launching an attack. And I'm not trying to mark everyone, because if I go after both of these groove riders, like eventually I'm just going to completely run out of matches. So I want to make sure I'm as fresh as possible, for when this particular groove rider in front of me, Alex, when he attacks. So I let that one go. Fortunately, my teammate Mike, he's a TT guy. He's able to catch up and ensure that we have a primal rider in that group. And I'm just going to do my best to recover as much as possible. Heart rate's down to the 160s. So I'm in a good spot for that next attack. All right, so we're going into the last lap, and I absolutely love my positioning right now. There's maybe 5 or 6 riders in front of me. I'm in a pretty good spot. The pace has been pretty hot for the last minute or so, but it's going to start to slightly slow down. You just saw my watts at 500. Now we're in the mid-2s, and just going to continue to slow down. And for some reason, I eventually just kind of decided to just drift to the front for really no reason at all. I think I just didn't want to touch brakes, didn't want to slow down, just wanted to carry my momentum. But right now I'm at the front, and this is not where I want to be. Fortunately, I'm not doing too many watts, but if you look to the right side of the screen, you're going to see an attack, and it's pretty early. We're at like 1.6K to go, and I kind of have a decision to make. You see my watts kind of go up to the 4s, then down to the 3s, and I'm kind of debating with myself, like, do I want to try to even catch this guy? Because if I catch this rider, sure, he doesn't get away solo, but I'm bringing like 15 people with me, and they're going to be much more fresh than I am at the finish line, and there's just no way I'm going to be able to outsprint them if I put in, a 1 minute, 400, 500 watt effort. So I decided not to, but you're going to see my watts spike up here again, because these two strong riders that we've been talking about all day, they're making the move. They're going to start to attack. They realize they kind of have this guy kind of reeled back in, so they let up off the gas a little bit. And this is the part that really frustrates me the most. I just let myself kind of get swallowed up by the peloton, and I'm now out of position. I'm way too many wheels back. We're going on a descent right here. There's not going to be a lot of room to move. It's only going to get faster, and right now I've got like 10 riders in front of me, probably more. And, I'm just not making up those spaces. And it's really frustrating, because I had great positioning. I was near the front, but just kind of like, I don't know, my brain turned off for a second, and I let way too many riders in front of me. And I don't even want to say I was fatigued when that happened, because I really felt pretty good. So we're on this finishing straight, and there's 500 meters to go roughly, and I'm putting in a little bit of an effort, but I need to be going faster. Like I'm eating way too much wind, and I need to be on this, like the rider in front of me with the white kit with the blue shorts. Like I should be on his wheel right now, but I'm not. I'm like 10 yards away from everybody else, and really not hitting peak power either. Kind of a disappointing ending. Overall, I felt like I handled this race pretty well. I was strategic in just finding the strong riders and making sure I didn't let them get away. Um, but just need to be, a bit more on my toes at the end when things picked up going into that final straight. Was eating way too much wind, was giving up way too many wheels. So a bit frustrated, but overall, had a lot of fun. And I'm happy with where my fitness is at the moment. Still a little over 2.5 months until Gateway Cup, so plenty of time to continue to build fitness and hit my peak. So, really happy with where I am right now. As always, thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Later.